Well, I've been on a few dates before, and we arranged it by talking in class. We went to the mall and went to go see a movie. In my opinion, the best place to go for a date is a restaurant, because you get to sit right there with the person and talk to them and get to know a lot about them personally.
I was on a date once, kind of. It was with a guy that I messaged online. He was from a nearby school. And we went to the mall with some friends, but we ended up not really talking to each other. We were kind of talking to our own friends, so we weren't really on a date with each other. So in that way, I haven't really been on many dates, and I'm not really the one to know where to go.
Well, I came home from school one day and I put my wallet on the kitchen counter, and then I couldn't find it a couple of hours later. I looked all around my room. I thought it might be in there under some of my clothes, but it wasn't. It could be that the guy who came to fix our washing machine took it, or it could be that my mom or my sister took it thinking it was theirs. It might be that it was under some papers and got thrown into the trash. I really hope I find it.
I heard that in Roswell, New Mexico, some aliens crashed their UFO into the desert. But I think it was the army that crashed their plane there instead.
We have 15 kids in our English class, and last month, the girl who asks all of the questions just disappeared. No one knows where she is. It might be that she changed schools, or maybe she moved. She might have even gotten ill, but no one knows. We haven't heard from her, and we don't know if we ever will.
So, my teacher called me up yesterday looking for this paper that I thought I definitely handed in, and now she can't find it. It could be that she misplaced it and put it in the advanced English class group, or that maybe I never handed it in. It might be that. But who knows what happened to it? We can't find it, and now I have to rewrite it.
Today, we live in the era of new media. People can access the news at any time, from any place, on all kinds of digital devices. Journalists post articles online, and they can be read instantly by people all over the world. Journalism has changed a lot since the first days of the newspaper, and most of these changes were caused by developments in technology. There's no better place to discover this than Washington, D.C., home of the Newseum. The Newseum has lots of exhibitions about the history of the media. There are over 30,000 newspapers here. This is the Boston Newsletter. It is the oldest newsletter in the country and was first printed in 1704. This front-page article told the American people that the infamous pirate Blackbeard had been killed. In the early days of journalism, reporters published their stories in newspapers, which were printed on large printing presses. These old newspapers were often just a single sheet of paper, and they were distributed on horseback. This all changed when the first telegraph line was built in 1844. It was used by many journalists when the American Civil War started. For the first time, journalists could send reports while battles were being fought. These early war correspondents and the stories they sent became very popular. But there were still problems. Historians have said that these war reports were very biased because journalists represented their own side in the war. There was no objectivity, and stories were often inaccurate or completely wrong. Years later, When the radio was first invented, many people predicted that it would transform media. They were right, because for the first time, news could be broadcast live. Throughout the 20th century, news technology advanced quickly. People all over the world said they wanted quicker and easier access to news. By the end of the century, there were hundreds of cable TV channels, lots of 24-hour news channels, and the internet had been invented. This is the HP New Media Gallery. It shows the news as it is today. Visitors are instantly connected to the day's news by live Twitter feeds. They can also check out major news stories, which were first reported on social media. Today, news stories can cross the globe in seconds, and communication is becoming quicker and easier all the time. Who knows what the next major development will be? There's no better place to discover this than Washington, D.C., home of the Newseum. There are over 30,000 newspapers here. This all changed when the first telegraph line was built in 1844.
Well, my house and my family, we've always been really green. We recycle. We recycle cardboard, paper, water bottles, and whenever we're not using the lights in a room, we always turn them off. Or whenever we're finished using the water, we always turn off the faucet. So we try to conserve energy as much as possible.
I think that I'm very green. We learned a lot about the environment at my school, and at my home, we always unplug things when we're not using them. We recycle and we collect our food waste and use it as compost. My family also bought a fuel-efficient car, and I try to walk as much as possible, or I use public transportation.
Our school tries to be as green as possible. We have recycling bins in each of the rooms. That's where we put all the paper and all the plastic. We even have an environmental club that encourages us to be green. Most people follow all the rules.
I live a pretty green life, I would say. Ever since I was little, my dad would always make sure I would turn off the lights and turn off the TV after I was done using them, so I never forget to do that. When we go grocery shopping, my mom always brings our own bags, so we don't have to use the plastic bags at the store. My school is also very green, and we have lots of environmental clubs. They sell water bottles, so you don't have to buy plastic bottles with water, which is great. So we can, be green and save the planet.
Well, I love Tumblr. I spend hours on Tumblr. I just love looking at the pictures. And my favorite TV show is probably How I Met Your Mother. I can relate to the characters so much, and things they say are just really funny.
My favorite TV show is Gossip Girl, and I like it because it's based on a series of books that I read, and it's just about a bunch of rich New York kids who go to private school and spend too much money and just run around New York City and are crazy. And I think it's a really fun show, and I think it's really silly.
Last week, my friends and I made a music video and we put it on YouTube. We filmed outside and we used the Beatles song Strawberry Fields Forever. My friend's camera takes amazing shots and we ended up using all of them. Once we put it on YouTube, we got 200 views. We really hope that a lot more people get to see it.
My favorite show on TV right now is New Girl. Oh, it's so funny. It makes me laugh so much. It's about this girl, Jessica Day, who moves in with these 3 guys as roommates. Can you imagine? 1 girl, 3 guys. And it's just, they're so silly. Their stories are so funny, and I watch it after school like every day.